Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about drawing a landscape. We just got done watching a PowerPoint and talking about lots of landscape conventions, or ways that artists draw landscapes to kind of create a convincing space. We talked about stuff in the foreground, stuff in the middle ground, and stuff in the far, far, far background. And we talked about how things in the foreground appear larger and they're closer to us, and how things in the background that are farther away from us appear smaller, even though they're just on the same piece of paper. We also talked about the horizon line, where the sky and the ground meet, and how the things in the top of the sky up here are bigger and they get smaller as they get close to the horizon line, and things that are at the bottom of the page are bigger and get smaller as they get close to the horizon line. So today we're going to be drawing two different landscapes. I'm going to draw both a cityscape and a countryscape. And you will choose one of the two. Of course, I'm going to be doing kind of a basic model. I'm just going to be kind of creating the landscape so that there's stuff in the foreground, stuff in the middle ground, and stuff in the background. And then you're going to be kind of following the same idea, but of course creating your own things as you go along. This is my painting that's only half finished, and is an example of what we will be doing with Fauvism, as I explain later in the PowerPoint. But we're going to be making the landscape drawings today. So on your paper, you're going to make sure that wherever you're looking, the corner or the edge of my rectangle here is really the edge of your paper. If you look at my cityscape, you can see that I've got this tree here kind of right next to the edge. Then you can see how I've got this tree right next to the edge. So you're imagining that this edge of the rectangle is the edge of your paper, and you're going to fill your paper from side to side. Okay, on the top one, I'm going to do my cityscape, and on the bottom one, I'm going to do my country landscape. Another thing that we talked about is that holding your paper horizontally like this is called a landscape format. And of course, holding your paper like this vertically up and down is called a portrait format. So this is landscape, this is portrait. In the past, I've referred to this as the hot dog way, and this is the hamburger way, right? But that's kind of very kindergarten-y, first grade-y kind of language. And this, as an artist, you would say this is a landscape format, and this is a vertical portrait format. So hold your paper horizontally, or the landscape format way, and then following along, I have my two papers, this one and this one, following a landscape format, and then from there I'm going to be drawing in my two landscapes. I'll draw one first, and then I'll draw the second one, and then so as one set is drawing, the other set is learning, and then when the other set is drawing, the other set is learning. So it's a direct drawing and learning process. All right, landscape people, we're going to start first. We're going to put our horizon line a little bit higher than halfway, about right there. Draw it lightly so that you can erase as you go through. Then in the background, you're going to put a variety of mountains. They can be big, small, you can have them overlapping. But we want to have something in the background. They don't have to be pointy, because mountains aren't always pointy. Sometimes they have curved, wiggly tops. And remember, you're filling your page up. The whole point of this is that you've got your page filled and you've got a convincing kind of space. All right? Some of the people we looked at, like Cézanne or Matisse, they had conventions of making a landscape and having things farther away in the background and things further. So these mountains are going to be way, way, way in the background. Of course, they're big, but for mountains, they're fairly small because they're far away. Cityscape people, you are also going to be drawing a horizon line, and you're going to put your horizon line, sorry, I'm going to have to kind of draw upside down here. You're going to put your horizon line pretty much just a hair above the center line. All right, and you're going to draw it here. And then from there, we are going to start by making the bridge and the cityscape in the background. So you're going to see here we're going to put this bridge in, and then we're going to put the cityscape behind it so we can do some of that overlapping. So right above your horizon line, you're going to put the top of the bridge and make it go all the way across your paper. Then you're going to form some little half arches here. Okay, just those half arches, and make sure that your half arches cut through your horizon line, so we're still going to be able to see that horizon line in the background. So going up, curving down, going up, curving down. Try to make these regular. This is like a stone arch bridge kind of thing that we have here in Minneapolis, or for the ones in Europe, a lot of bridges like this exist in Europe because they built a lot with stone because it's durable and lasts a long time. Now you might have to adjust this ever so slightly for our road that we put in later, but we can adjust that later. Then at the bottom of those arches, you're going to put in the little flat-edged line like this, so that you can see where it connects with the either water that we put in or with the land that we put in. And you might have to readjust, like I said, these couple ones to put our road in later, but you can do that with your eraser as we go through. All right. Next step, while you guys are cityscape people are drawing that, landscape people, we're going to move on to our road. And you'll see that in this picture here, we want to have our road kind of cutting through the bottom to create a border there, sort of, and then we want to create a path into our picture that's going to bring the viewer into the picture. So imagine, if you will, here's the edge of your road, okay, and then your road's going to come in from this side and then curve kind of gently through the picture. And this is a meandering country road, so make a gentle curvy line kind of all the way back. Now you don't want to have it super jig-jaggy and wiggly and stuff, because no road really looks like that. It might look curvy because it's going over hills and stuff, but try not to make it too wiggly. Then we want our road to be about here, but we want it to come and line up about here as well. So you're going to make kind of a wiggly line for the edge of our country road, curve it around, and then, like we said in the PowerPoint, our road is going to get smaller as we get closer to the horizon line, and then as we get right up to the horizon line, it disappears, and that's going to help your road look like it's disappearing. Okay, so do that road. Cityscape people, your road is going to look something like this. It's kind of having this whole edge here go curve around and kind of draw the eye back into the center of the picture. So you're going to start kind of right here about where the countryscape people started, and you're going to make a curved line and curve that line and bring it right to the edge of one of the archways, and you can go right underneath that archway. So I'm going to have to kind of change that a little bit right there, or maybe I'll make it a two-laned road. The other part of your road is going to start right here on the corner, like the bottom corner of your picture, and you're going to, sorry, I got to do this kind of awkwardly. You're going to start here and curve that road so it looks really big in the front, and then you're going to curve it back like that so that it curves behind these little archways. Now for the archways, I'm going to take this archway out. I'm going to readjust it a little bit and make it a wider archway so that it goes over that road, and then I'm going to just adjust this one so it kind of disappears. I'm going to adjust that one so it gets smaller. Okay, so you've got that roadway getting smaller there. And then I forgot to say, erase the little pieces in between your bridge edges here, so you can get those out of the way like that, so that you can still see the horizon line back there, but you can't see it where the bridge is because you don't want it there. Okay, so we've done kind of the stuff in the background and the road. Oops, sorry, cityscape people. You also need to add in the city, obviously. Okay, here's my city in the background. Make sure that your buildings are fairly small. and we're going to make sure that we overlap some trees in front of them later. So you know, change it up. Make sure that your buildings are not boring. You can have them be tall, like office buildings, or if you want them to look more, you know, European, maybe make some of them look like clock towers, or have pointy edges on them or something. You can have some smaller buildings in the front and some taller ones in the background. Use your creativity to make your buildings look different than mine, and have those buildings, you know, be part of your artistic personality rather than just, you know, making them all the same. Make them look different. This is going to be fauvism, so it can be a little on the wilder side of life, so to speak. I mean, don't make them so wild that you can't tell they're buildings, obviously, but, you know, be creative in the fact that they're buildings in the background. Okay. Now we're going to work on some of the middle ground stuff. Okay. Landscape people, we are going to put in these cypress trees right here in the middle ground, and we're going to put this house back here in the far away middle ground. All right. So to start with the trees, we want these trees to be kind of nice and tall, so they look kind of like teardrops. I'm going to start above my mountains for my first two, three trees. I'm going to make them, I'm going to point it down and curve around at the bottom and curve back up at the top to kind of make like a teardrop shape. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little rectangle on the bottom for, you know, the trunk. Then I'm going to overlap a couple more trees here. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to make like a teardrop shape over here and make it a little bit shorter. And I'm going to put a teardrop shape over here, make it a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to overlap one in the back like that. And then I'm going to try to I'm going to put one more like right here in the front. Okay, now I have to do a little bit of erasing, so I'm going to take my eraser and erase the mountains in the background because we want to get rid of those. Okay, this is where you're going to have to use your eraser and be thoughtful. And sorry, my hand's in the way right now, but give me a second. Okay, so there I've got my mountains kind of erased in the background. Now I'm going to kind of redefine some of these edges to make sure that they're back in there where I want them. Oops, I put my tree back in that I didn't want. I want to get rid of that. It's alright. Okay, there we go. Now you've got your trees in the background. And we're going to put a little house in here. Start with a little rectangle. Okay, then we're going to take a straight line at the top of our rectangle, make it a little bit longer, and you're going to draw a parallelogram. Like that. And then in the front, you're going to imagine there's like another diagonal line that comes down like that. And then you're going to do just two lines. You're going to do a diagonal line here and then one straight up into that house like that. And so you're going to have a little house there. That's going to be like our little farmhouse or something you can imagine. If you want to, you can change your road a little bit and like make a little curvy line out here behind your house to kind of like look like it's going up to the house. You could put other things in there. Remember, this is a painting, so you might have trouble painting anything smaller than that with a good amount of detail. So be careful, don't add things that are too super duper small. Alright, cityscape people, since we're in the city, we're going to draw some trees. They're going to be nice and straight and tall because they've been city groomed, they've taken care of them, they've made them look like city trees. So we're going to need to make a little boulevard, and we're going to need to put the trees kind of in a line. And notice how the trees in the front are taller than the trees in the back. They're short in the back. So here we go. I'm going to take my line, my curved line, I'm going to put a sidewalk on by just taking this and making a straight line like that into the back. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to work from the back to the front. Okay, so there's my sidewalk. Sorry, it's kind of sloppy. Like that. And I'm trying to stay out of the way of those landscape people. Alright, there we go. Now you're going to put on your trees. I'm going to start with a tree right here. The reason why I'm starting with the tree right here is I want it to be on the side, but I want to kind of leave this area of my road open so I can put stuff on it later. So I'm going to put a nice tall popsicle stick, like just straight line up, and I'm going to put it up a little bit below my bridge, and then I'm going to put on like the popsicle sticky kind of, you know, rounded top to my tree. Okay, and then I'm going to have to erase the inside so that we can actually see the top of the tree. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to put my next one on. I want it to be overlapping. So right here I'm going to put a little popsicle stick kind of thing, and I'm going to put the tree out this way. Alright, another one here. And notice how it's getting smaller as I move away. This one's like on the other side of my bridge, and I can make another one even over here that's a little smaller. So you can see they get smaller as I move away from that bridge. And if I go even, yeah, and I'll leave it like that. These ones in the front here, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to put in there as well, and then we'll do these ones that are a little closer. This is going to be like an autumn picture, so these trees have lost their leaves, and those ones are still have leaves. I'm going to put them here. I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put one here, and one right here. Okay, and I'm going to do the same kind of popsicle stick tree, which of course you would never find a straight tree. We've had that discussion many times before. But since these ones are in the city, we're using our imagination that they're straight. And of course you're going to erase anything that's behind those trees so you can't see them. Then I'm going to put these two trees in here, and they're going to have, you know, kind of the barky, not barky, the branchy type tree. And so I'm just going to put one in. If you have room for two, great. If you don't, that's fine too. Just put one in. And I'm going to do mine kind of upside down here because so I'm not in the way of the landscape people. And I'm going to take and you want the main trunk of it to be kind of wiggly, and you want it to come about there. Okay, and here's my main trunk. And then you want to have some other branches, larger branches, coming out from the center, kind of staggered, and then have some other branches coming out from those. If they overlap your bridge, that's fine. If they don't, if they go off the page, that's fine. If they overlap each other, that's fine. But you want to have a little, you know, a little change in how that's done, so that you've got a little bit of variety in your trees. Then the last little part here, let me see, the last little part for our countryscape people is we're going to put in this hill in the front and some clouds in the back, and then cityscape people will talk about adding some other things in the foreground and the background. So here we go, landscape people or countryscape people. We're going to start like right here, and we're going to just put a curved line kind of down like that and erase the front of our road so it looks like the hill is in front. And then we're going to do the same thing that the cityscape people did. We're going to put in some trees. Alright, so my foreground trees I'm going to kind of make curved, and then kind of curve one line up here. Make the other side of the tree, I'm going to start here, I'm going to curve a branch out that way, and then I'm going to kind of continue my main branch this way and curve a couple extra branches off of my tree. Make sure that your branches get smaller as they go higher up, because the tree would get smaller. Okay, and I'm going to put one more branch, like right here. Alright, so there's my first tree, and then I'm going to put a second tree that's like the farthest thing in the front, in the foreground. I'm going to make it right here. And the bottom of it here, coming up into the tree-like. And I'm using this to break up the picture so that we've got some stuff that's in the foreground, we've got some stuff in the background, we have some stuff in the middle ground, and it's gonna, you know, lead the eye through the picture, which is what we want. Okay, so there's my kind of foreground trees, middle ground trees, far away, middle ground, background, and as far as our clouds in the background, you could put some bigger clouds up at the top, put some medium clouds in the middle, and you can put some smaller clouds farther away if you want. That'll help your picture, you know, look more like that. Cityscape people up at the top, same thing for you. You could put some large clouds kind of off the top of the page, some smaller clouds down further, closer to the horizon line. If you'd like to, you could also put some people or some cars or something in the front. Of course, that's really hard to do. So we could talk about that as far as what you want to put in. You could also put, this part right out here is actually a river kind of flowing underneath this stone arch bridge. So if you wanted to, you could take a boat, because boats are a little easier to draw, kind of like a little trapezoid shape, and then you could put a sail on it, something like that. For a boat, or you could put a rowboat. In class, I'll kind of pause the video here, change over to teaching live, and if people have specific questions of things they want to see on their picture, I can draw some more specific things. If you want like carriages, I can draw carriages, or we can talk about different things that you can put into your ideas and get those pictures to look more specific to you. At this point, we're going to have independent work time. I want you to add, change things around, more trees, less trees, change the positions of the trees. This again is just a basic kind of template for how our drawings should look, so that we have a foreground, middle ground, background, foreground, middle ground, and background far away. So we want all those elements in our landscape picture so that those conventions tell our viewers things are close, things are sort of far away, and things are really far away. All right, and that's how we conclude our landscape drawing.